So let's begin with a new lesson, and this new lesson for today is water resources. Now in this water resources you are going to get a 10-mark question, and the topics which will be coming in this lesson are written over here on the board. So we'll be discussing one by one all the topics that generally come in this lesson. The main theme of this lesson is, first of all, what is the importance of the water. Now this water has got various kind of uses, and these uses generally come like say the irrigation, like for drinking and other purposes. So naturally what would be the need of irrigation in India? Then we'll be discussing the various methods of how the irrigation is to be done, because irrigation is done for the production of the food, that means the agriculture, and we since India being a very big country employs various different kind of methods according to the geographical convenience and other kind of knowledge and convenience of the farmers, etc. So therefore we have got various kind of irrigation methods, and naturally every method has got its advantages and disadvantages. So we'll understand this, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the various kind of means of irrigation. Then in the last we'll be studying about the rainwater harvesting, as we know that the conservation of water is very necessary, and for this purpose we do rainwater harvesting. And last thing that we'll be studying is simply that what is the advantage of the rainwater harvesting. So let's begin with the first topic, and the first topic is about water and its importance. So water is very important for the survival of the human beings, as it is one of the ingredients like the air, like the oxygen in the air and other things that we need for our survival. But these days the population has increased so much that it is very difficult for the people to live near the water bodies, and therefore there is a need for the availability of the water for all the people, and whether they are living near a water body or whether they are very far away. Not only in the summers but in all the seasons, and not only in a small amount but in large amount as the population is increasing. Therefore we have now not only the villages but we have the metros, big cities as well, where large amount of water is needed and every day it is required. So therefore there is a lot of importance of water in our daily life, as well as for the industrial purposes, as well as for the agricultural purposes, for the irrigation. And not only this is required for the present, but it is required for the future as well, because if we are going to spoil our water, like the pollution of the water, then it may not be available in large quantity for our future generations, and therefore we have to conserve water also, we have to save water, and we have to find out the measures so that it is not polluted, and whatever the water is available, that is available for the present generation as well as the future generations. For this purpose, first of all, we have to understand there is a lot of water on the earth. As you know that almost 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water. But out of this whole water, hardly less than 1% of the water is available for drinking purposes, that is called as the potable water, and that too some of it is deposited in the form of the glaciers and on the in the form of the ice caps on the poles and other areas, and therefore that may not be accessible for the people for drinking and using other purposes. That means if very little water is there which is clean, which can be used by people for drinking purposes, and this is the need that we have to save this water. We have to see the measures that it is not polluted, and the conservation of water is also done. Now the first point that is written over here is the availability of water, and in that the first point shown over here is surface water. Now what is surface water? It is that water which is available on the top of the earth, which is clean water, like in the form of say rivers, lakes, these kind of water bodies, they are called as the surface water. Now surface water is naturally not available everywhere. It may be in the rivers, and so most of the people, they are not living nearby. So therefore what we do, we make canals and we supply it water in the far off areas. Second is the groundwater. Naturally, when the rainfall occurs, or maybe it is through the seepage of the water through the rivers, and what happens is that this water is absorbed in the soil, then it goes under. Now there are various structures inside the earth that we call as aquifers. Now what is the aquifer? It is a structure inside the earth where water gets stored and which we can later take out either through the tube wells or the wells, and this water which is available below the surface of the earth, that is called as the groundwater. Now this groundwater is very useful as it supplies water to the people in the areas where the rivers etc. are not near, and another advantage of this groundwater is it can supply the water where the people are living there only. But there are certain conditions for the availability of the groundwater, that the surface should not be rocky or it should not be available so deep that it is difficult to extract. The third point which is written over here is lagoons and backwaters. Now these lagoons are basically the water bodies which are found near the sea. They may have an opening into the sea through which the water comes and goes inside it. And what is the backwaters? Backwaters generally are such kind of water bodies which are basically the canal or a small river kind of water channels that are there in the coastal areas. They may be connected to the sea or they may be getting water through the tides which come in the seas. Naturally, these backwaters may be salty and therefore they may not be fit for drinking, but they may be useful for agricultural purposes. The place where most of the backwaters are famous is Kerala, but it can be found in the other areas as well.